and I have to figure out if he is still, as a matter of fact, half a world away. So, I ask, are you still half a world away, Karn?
I still am. I think we're 12 hours apart, perhaps
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, I think it's and that's weird because now tell everybody where you are, as a matter of fact.
I'm in India. I'm in the city called Gurgaon. It's next to New Delhi. Yeah.
Okay. So I think there was a 0.5 in there somewhere in trying to explain, where you were in relation to everything else. And the reason that we've got you on is because, other than you being a world traveler and enjoying the world's game as you do, you are the grand you are the grand dude. You are the top of the pyramid. You are the top of the ladder when it comes to this thing called FanPath. And you knocked on our door and you wanted to kind of let everybody know what's going on with FanPath, about how they can have their experience, they can condense all of their stuff so they're not paying like $98 gazillion going from point A to point B, 2 miles away, all this kind of stuff. Break it down for us. First off, how did you come up with the idea?
Sure. Firstly, thank you. Thank you so much, John, for having me on. Excited to be here. I reached out regarding FanPath. So let's first talk about the problems, right? Why what problems are faced, and how that derived into FanPath, and then I'll talk about what FanPath really is. Mm-hmm. So I've been a founder, startup founder for about 4 years now. I've traveled around the world because of it. I've been a sports fan all my life, right? And that's just not just football. By the way, is it okay if I call it football? Because it feels a little stingy if I call it.
Absolutely, dude. You can call it whatever you want. We call it both, sometimes in the same sentence. It's all good.
Perfect. Yeah. So a massive fan of football. I grew up playing tennis, so big fan of that as well. I'm into combat sports, so big fan of UFC, even WWE sometimes.
There you go.
Right, Formula One as well. So, every time I was traveling around the world, I was trying to find events I could attend. These included football events like UCL nights, Champions League nights. Been to the previous World Cup in Qatar. Been to Formula One weekends. Been to WWE events, right? And just always faced so much troubles in getting there, in finding the right tickets that weren't scammy, right? In paying a decent price for the tickets on a resale market. So all of that sort of accumulated in me thinking about, well, is there really a solution to this thing? And there really is, right? So I'll get into that. But the reason why FanPath really started is because I was looking at a tweet in December when the group stages were finalized. And they said that if Argentina topped the group and if Portugal topped their group, then they can potentially meet in the quarterfinals, right? When I see that, I'm a big Messi fan, right? Massive Messi fan. I have a lot of his merch and some exclusive things as well. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, hey, I gotta find out where this match is potentially taking place, right? So I tried out all the simulators online, and they all produced different results. It's like, this is crazy. This is insane, right? I just want to see where they can potentially play so I can book the hotels right now, right? And then just think about where I'm going to be flying. So all the simulators online were incorrect. They were all different. I wouldn't say incorrect. So I said, you know what? Let me figure out what the official tournament format is, and let me just build this myself. Being a builder, being a founder, that's what I do, right? So that's what I did. As soon as I built it, I started questioning. I was like, okay, I have this sort of World Cup simulator. Where can we go from here? So my founder brain started tinkering. I was like, okay, let's map out how my experience was in Qatar, right? The previous World Cup. So I spent about $12,000 US in Qatar over 2 weeks. I saw the World Cup final. I saw the quarterfinals. I saw Argentina win. I was staying in the cheapest possible area in Qatar with all the other fans. And I realized that, Doha is a small city, right? Everything was still congested. So people, if they wanted to transact on tickets physically, they would go to a particular place in Doha and transact over there, right? And then everything else, all the other coordination happened in that one spot as well. However, when you map that out onto the next World Cup or the upcoming World Cup in North America, all of a sudden you're talking about 3 countries, you're talking about 16 host cities, you're talking about 2,000 plus miles, right? On top of that, this is the first World Cup that's going to have 48 teams and not 32. So each team has 10,000 plus possible pots that they can take in the tournament. So it's going to be crazy. Coordination is going to be insane. Plus, North America is at least twice more expensive than Qatar is, Doha is. So people are going to be spending more money, right? So I was like, surely there needs to be some sort of a tool, some sort of platform where you can help people coordinate and split on things like housing, right? So let's say Argentina fans can stay together in Airbnbs, right? And then on tickets, this is something that doesn't exist yet. But what we're doing is, since I come from a gaming background, real quick, I built one of South Asia's first AAA crossplay shooters, up to 500,000 users. A shooter game is much like Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, if you guys are aware of that.
Yeah.
So we have a multiplayer matchmaking algorithm that matchmakes people based on their skill level. So a similar algorithm is what we're putting in FanPath to matchmake people who are looking for certain tickets, right? And the idea is, so I'm someone who, just a side note, I'm someone who books my flights and my tickets and my events, everything last minute, right? So I usually pay resale prices on everything. So resale prices are extortionate, right? So
yeah, that's the word to use.
They've got a 30% fee, 15% buyer, 15% seller. Then the resale value itself is marked up quite a bit. So I was like, okay, in Qatar, I saw Brazilian fans when they lost the semifinal. When they lost the quarterfinal, I saw them give tickets away for the semifinal for free to Morocco, which is crazy, right? Because those tickets were going for probably $700, $800, right? That was Morocco versus France. So that's like, there needs to be some sort of a platform where people can transact on tickets peer to peer without needing to go to a reselling website that's going to charge them 30% plus on the resale value, right? So then we started integrating like a new ticketing a ticketing P2P marketplace inside FanPath. We also have events. So if someone from, let's say, Argentina wants to host their own event inside, let's say, Dallas, which is where the group stages are going to be, they can do that in FanPath. And then everyone, not just Argentina fans, but all of the fans can see that, okay, there's this event going on. They can check in, they can visit. If it's paid, it's paid, right? But we've built the algorithm for all of that. And then another cool feature for us is Intel. So when I was in Qatar, I wanted to see Argentina play, right? I wanted to see Argentina train, rather. So I tried to find intel on where these guys are training, where the training grounds are. Again, everything was super fragmented, right? WhatsApp groups saying different things, Facebook groups are saying different things, Reddit threads are saying different things. There wasn't one verified official place where you got the intel that you want. So that's where we're partnering up with football federations to provide us official intel on where the training grounds are, if fans can visit, when they can visit, what times they can visit, right, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I've been through the entire stint. I've masqueraded as a journalist. I've snuck inside the training grounds in Qatar. So I kind of know how that works. But that's how I took, that's where I took the inspiration from. And that's what we've used to build FanPath, yeah.
And you can go to the website, which I've got right there, actually, right there. And you can go there and you can kind of look at, you've got simulators, you've got the analytics, you've got the idea. Now, what's the idea of joining the club? Because I'm trying to figure out, for those that are interested, joining the club. I know that you mentioned everybody coming together and having events in certain markets, but the idea of the club, break that down for me.
Sure. So each club has its own community, right? So Argentina is going to have its own, Brazil is going to have its own, the Netherlands is going to have its own community. We don't want to mix and match people together. And then each nation community is what we're calling them, right? So different nations have their own communities. Each of these nation communities also have different languages in them. So a country like Argentina or Brazil or England, right? These guys have fans from different parts of the world, right? So people speak English, they speak Spanish, Portuguese, etc. You don't want to mix and match all that. So something like Argentina's nation community is going to have its own official intel. It's going to have its own housing. So Argentina fans are going to post their own housing, whether they're sharing, whether they're offering their house, whatever it may be, whether they're seeking houses. So people from the Argentina community can then travel with others, right? They can carpool with other Argentina fans. They can stay at other Argentina fans' Airbnbs or houses. That's the idea.
And, what if you have someone who is, say, not an Argentina fan at the moment, but they want to know more about it. So it's like, you know, if I'm in one club, if I'm in one group, say just for the sake of comparison, you know, I'm a Cabo Verde guy,
Yeah.
and I want to hang out with I want to hang out with Argentinians, and I want to learn more about that. Is there available that kind of crossover where if I'm in one club, can I go and be part of another club just to kind of go hang out and learn? Is that a possibility?
Yeah. So we've got filters in housing. So you can select housing that's been posted by people of your nation community or by all of FanPath community. And then you can filter by the countries, right? So you can filter by Argentina, Brazil, Netherlands, England, Denmark, whatever.
What's the feedback been like so far?
Oh, we haven't officially launched yet.
Well, when are you launching, man? Let's go.
So the idea was to do a soft launch during the Finalissima in Qatar.
Oh yeah, and then that was kind of problematic.
Yeah, that's canceled now. So
now, what are you doing? When are we launching now? Are you going to go hard launch now that the Finalissima is no longer? What are you doing?
Oh yeah, hard launch for sure. That's what I've done with all my products. So we're going to go hard, and we're looking at mid-May.
Okay.
So about a month before the World Cup, yeah.
Okay, so then what kind of work do you need to do between now and mid-May to make sure that when you hard launch, everything is going to be as flawless as it can be so fans can hang out, they can be a part of their clubs, they can condense everything, and they're not spending $9 billion going from one venue to figure out their connect the dots? What do you got to do between now and then?
Absolutely, that's a great question. Two things, right? So the first thing is development. Make sure that everything is pristine. The mobile app, the web app that you guys can see on the website. So all that is pristine. All the architecture is done. Everything works perfectly. So that's on the works. And the second thing is going to be the federation partnerships, right? So we are talking to a few federations that I can't name right now.
Oh, come on, man.
That's the alpha I can't give right now. But the idea is amazing because these guys are going to give us official intel to our fans.
Okay.
And then, you know, another thing in sports tech, so I've been speaking to a lot of sports tech VCs, is the fact that there really isn't enough fan engagement data around. So if you look at deep tech, and again, this is not a comparison, right? But if you look at deep tech, something like Meta, something like TikTok, something like Google, OpenAI, etc., they have exact data on, you know, how their user behaves wherever they are in the world, right? So that could be India, that could be North Virginia, that could be Ghana, right? Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, whatever. However, someone like Manchester United does not have any idea, right? Their data points are, okay, I have X people coming to the stadium, Y people buying merchandise, Z people buying Z1 food or Z2 food or Z3, you know, whatever, fish and chips or whatever.
Right.
But they don't exactly know how much their online fans are worth from different parts of the world, right? So fan engagement and coordination, these are some data points that we're obviously anonymizing and collecting that could help with user experience. So this is another point that is valuable in our, and especially in our conversations with these federations. We'll see, you know, where that goes, but of course, we're going to make sure that everything is compliant with GDPR and data rules.
All right, so here's a question from one of the folks in the Twitch pitch, and I love this question because, you know, how I was talking about, like, if you're a fan of one national team and you want to hang out with other national team members, this is another data point that I didn't think of until Abby brought it up. Can someone sign up by stadium instead of team? Because if you live in one of the 16 home markets, you're just locked into that venue. Like in Dallas, you're locked into Jerry World. In Atlanta, it's Atlanta Stadium. So can you do it? Can you pin yourself in that way by market and not by anything else? Can you do it that way?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So guys, the current website shows analytics, right? So analytics is not a main mode. So what we've done is very recently, we've changed that from analytics to something that we're calling MyPath, right? So MyPath is essentially a conversational trip planner for you. So you tell it what your budget is, how willing you are to travel, you know, what's your risk appetite, what's your comfort appetite, are you willing to be more uncomfortable, are you willing to be more comfortable, whatever it may be. And it's going to give you an entire itinerary based on your responses, right? So over here, since this is also an AI, you can tell MyPath, you can tell the AI that, okay, I'm situated over here. What are the different routes I can take, right? Or what are the different things I can do in my city and the stadium? We don't have a particular feature for a stadium only function.
Right.
However, this is something that will work on my path, and that's coming out, I think, in 2 weeks.
Okay, so we got 2 weeks before that. What has it been like to work with these federations that you are sworn to secrecy not to name, and ask them about their intel and all of their stuff? What's it been like to integrate with these federations themselves?
Right. So, I mean, we're in nascent stages, right? So, I wouldn't say I've got a feel of how it works. However, I have worked with agents before. So, agents who work with, who do sponsorship deals for, let's say, Barcelona, Real Madrid, who work for even folks like, probably shouldn't name them, but some of the top footballers in the world, right? Playing for Real Madrid, Barcelona, etc. So, I've got a feel of how it works. But talking about federations itself or themselves, it gets tricky because the way Japan works is very different to how Saudi Arabia works,
Mm-hmm.
right? So some folks care more about the relationship building and like the nitty gritties and the nuances between how you go about your conversations and partnerships, and with the others is different. Um, but yeah, at the same point, I can't comment too much because we're still in nascent stages, right? So yeah.
Oh, obviously we got the website down here, usefanpath.com. We've already had some of the folks in the Twitch pitch sign up to get all the information. They want to be a part of this thing. They're signing up. They're getting ready for that gap space between now and May when you do the hard launch. Quick question for you. Who is going to win at WrestleMania between CM Punk and Roman Reigns?
I love that you asked that. I hope it's CM Punk. I'm a big fan. I started watching WWE again because he came back.
See?
So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
I get that. Okay. What did you think about Brock Lesnar putting Obafemi over last night?
very respectable. Very respectable. Someone who's at the later stages of their career, putting over younger folks in a similar position. Yeah, respect that.
Yeah, and Paul E is always going to be right there in the Mount Rushmore of personalities inside the WWE. I had to ask that stuff because you and I shared spirits. I'm an AEW guy, but I understand WWE. I get it. I know where it's coming from. I can't thank you enough for staying up late and hanging out with us and breaking down everything that involves FanPath. So literally right there, use fanpath.com. That's where you go. You keep up to date on everything between now and the hard launch in May, and then the sprint to the World Cup. Can we say? Well, we said it. So if they're going to get me in trouble, fine, I'm in trouble. So every time between now to May to the World Cup chaos, and then you're going to sleep in like August, right? That's how this is going to work.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that we collect a ton of data on the World Cup, right? And then we take that, we go to Formula One, we go to WWE, right? We go to even Taylor Swift's Era Tour, right? And we say, hey, this is what we can do for you guys. And of course, if you care about fans, this is probably something you should look into anyway.
Yep.
And hopefully this becomes FanPath. Realistically, the vision is to become the fan passport for global sports travel, right? So that's beyond. So that's the Olympics, that's Formula One weekends, right? That's TKO groups, that's all of that.
Well, I can't thank you enough for this. Will you keep us up to date on everything, especially as you get closer to the hard launch, and so we can catch back up in May and find out how things are and what you're looking forward to with that sprint for the World Cup? Is that a promise?
That's a promise, 100%.
Good deal. Karn, thanks for dropping by this morning and batting leadoff here on the morning show. We'll see you soon, especially with the launch happens with FanPath. Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice one.
There we go. Karn Saxena. So use FanPath. And I saw that Dell has already signed up. That's very, very cool. Good work there. So I'm intrigued. I want to see how this works. And Abby, to your point, I'm glad that you brought that up, considering that they were going to soft launch during the Finalissima in Qatar. And so now they're just going to go from the soft launch to the hard launch in May. And it's going to be a sprint. Man, it's going to be a sprint, getting all of this intel together with all of the federations and all of the travel plans and how they're going to do it, and comparing and contrasting and throwing all of this into one big hopper to try and make the experience far more manageable from a financial standpoint and a logistics standpoint in getting ready for this World Cup thing that everybody's going to be chasing after here coming up in a little bit.